Yo, what's happening? Welcome back to a brand new episode of You Can't Sit With Us Radio, featuring myself, as always, Ellen Vicious, aka the kid that never sold dope, aka the Black Boondock, and the one and only, the smooth Q, the DJ. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brethren?
Man, chilling like a booger, bro. What's up, man?
What?
Chilling like a booger, bro.
Where did you get that from?
Man, what? Boogers chill you know?
In the left nostril.
Right.
That's nuts. I've never heard that. It's insane. But if you want to go with that, bro, I completely support your choice. How you been, man? You been coolin'?
I'm cool, man. How you been? What you do this weekend? Yesterday?
Oh man, I got to throw an advertisement plug in on, but I was at FunFest this week, which was really odd because I don't feel like they promoted it until maybe like a week before. But for anybody who's in the city who didn't know what FunFest was, basically Lipton came out and gave Nashville what's called a Fan Fest. So it's from like 12 to 5. It was free food. You had like 4 different vendors, like people that are known, like Slim and Huskies was out there. Mm-hmm. Just people that are known. And then you can get, different merch and all that stuff. And it was a free event. They had T-Pain in there, MC Light. Man, I was trying to think. It was somebody else that performed. He was more local. I'm forgetting the name right now. Mike Floss. Yeah, Mike Floss performed.
I think Deja McBride performed too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was, man, they had some kind of girl group out there. I don't know who they were, but they were actually kind of fire. And it was just odd because I don't think I really see many. You don't really see many groups in R&B anymore.
Like, is it R&B?
Yeah,
they're doing R&B.
Yeah. They were doing R&B, but they came out, man. They was singing. They was on point. They sounded like some shit that was recorded, but they was really doing that shit. And it was amazing. I gotta go back and remember what their names were. But other than that, man, it was really cool. 12 to 5. It wasn't a huge turnout, but I can tell they kind of planned it that way, so they didn't have to put it in some huge area. It was just like a smaller lot right off the interstate when you come off the exit. I forget.
24.
Yeah, right off 24. But yeah, they had the little Fun Fest there, man. It was smooth. It was a good time, man. I was glad I pulled up.
I see you went back home, man, too.
Man, bro, went back to Milwaukee. Boy, it was cold as hell, but I'm telling you, like my body not built for that cold no more, bro. It's not. I got out there, man. I had a wedding to do. Her shit was outdoors, and I'm like, okay, it ain't quite winter yet. It might be all right, man. We got there. It's probably, I think somebody told me it was the coldest that they had in like 3 weeks. And I was like, bro, this is nuts. But yeah, man. Yeah, I got to go back home, man. And it's always good to touch the city, man. Just get back to your roots and, get in contact with feelings that you used to feel and remember different things and all of that shit. So, I got to get out, kick it with my people, man. People I ain't seen in a while, and some people I missed, but, catch them again.
Yeah, last time we was in here, man, they said we left a mess in here.
Hey, yeah, man. They said we left the mess. I don't recall, but whatever.
Left the mess in this motherfucker.
Apparently, they said we left it. He was like, I pulled up the camera. We saw it. I was like, bro, I don't think you saw it. But it's it's fine. What can we do?
He said we left one box out, one mic stand out, and one cable out.
And somebody's probably gonna have to use that anyways.
I don't know if that's considered a mess though.
Nah, I don't know. Not in this big area, I would consider that a mess.
That's the case, man. I need to snitch on everybody because when I come in here, I ain't shit.
Facts.
But half the time, man, we do a podcast, so I ain't even tripping. We need that stuff. So.
Hey, man, we gotta. We'll say that talk for later. But yeah, man, whatever.
Anyways, as always, we keep the most amazing, talented, dopest, spectacular guests on the show, and today is like no other. We got members of the 6-1 tribe. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves and what y'all do individually.
Go ahead.
Let's start out with G from the 615 tribe.
How we doing? right, left. G.S.W.U, aka Bino, believe in new opportunity. Tribe. I am co-owner of the company of Tribe Everything LLC. Also artist, also producer, also whatever I need to do. Y'all
whatever I need to be at the time.
Yeah, whatever I need to make it happen. But that's me. Yeah, 615 native. Yeah.
I'm Aaron Deathridge. I engineer and kind of like coordinate all the sessions. I run the business with Slab. I kind of like came up with the idea to start putting this group together, I guess 3 years ago at this point, and I've just kind of been building relationships with people and trying to give the studio that I work at, Eastside Manor, kind of start to turn it into a hub for Nashville hip hop and kind of like give local hip hop artists and underground artists kind of the opportunity to get into a bigger space, a little bit more of a kind of like professional environment, because there's so much talent here. We just wanted to start creating more opportunities for what already existed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm Evan Gray, aka the greatest fashion designer alive, I guess. And I'm just a creator, philanthropist, philosopher. Just out here trying to make some dreams come true. I don't got a whole spiel on Tribe. I'm just part of it.
You rap.
You a part of it. Yeah, records, you know what I mean?
You talk about your clothes.
I mean, they cool. When I fuck with them, I love them. They great. You know what I mean?
I make a little bit of music. You'll hear me on the album.
Kanye fashion.
Man, so just before we get into it, either one of y'all can answer this question, but just explain what 615 Tribe is.
It's 615 Tribe, but 615 Tribe is
My bad.
No, you good, bro. You good, bro. 615 Tribe is a few things, I guess, at this point. It's a production company. It's a home for people. It's become a family for some. It is something that the world, I don't think, has seen. Mm-hmm. Not just Nashville, but I think it's something that it's a concept that's, as we keep doing, is more proven. We're proving ourselves like this is it's going to be a proven concept. You know what I mean? And also, it's revolutionary how we are taking care of the artists that are with us, mm-hmm. and not looking at them as just a commodity. It's a lot of shit. I mean, we have design, we have branding people on here. We have people do video with us. It's becoming a real movement and something that's spreading more legs. You know what I mean? Besides just artists making music. You know what I mean? But that's still the base foundation of what this is, and also like a family environment.
That's been one of the most inspiring things for me with the Tribe, for real, is just I don't feel the same pressure as like when I'm making music. I know how to brand it, sell it, market it, blah, blah, blah. Tribe has become like almost basically a record label, to a certain extent. Yeah. To where it's like, artists can just focus on making their music and they have somebody who can help them with all the back end. I've never had that before, and it's beautiful.
Well, yeah, when we set out, when we kind of first conceptualized it, the idea was just to make a tornado relief record back in 2020. Mm-hmm. And then when the pandemic hit, everything kind of got shaken up. But through all that time, we really kind of grew pretty close together as just like a family unit, and it went from this kind of one-off idea of let's get all these different artists together and put them on a record to raise some money for the city to well, what if all these artists just really were together? What if we did shows together? What if we, built everybody's individual brands up through collective work? Mm-hmm. So we do highly collaborative sessions where we get 15, 20 artists out to the studio at the same time, all kind of working on music together, trying to... I got really inspired by the Dreamville record when it came out. I think I'm wearing the Dreamville hat right now. Yeah. But that's that was kind of like the archetype for me that gave me the idea. Is I was like, man, we have a big enough space out here that we can kind of do this, but keep it all local. Just give Nashville MCs a place to come and meet, because the scene was really segmented 3-4 years ago. All these artists existed, but they didn't know each other like that, a lot of them, and it's been cool to just kind of make those connections and build out everybody's network. But yeah, that's a long answer to say that we're a rap group.
I mean, I think the concept of everything, of it being him being inspired from the Dreamville thing. To me, always feeling that the Def Jam model was so great back in the day, and the Cash Money when it was right was a good foundation of like how you can present groups and solo. Where you can have a Hot Boy, a Big Timers, but just have a Lil Wayne by himself, and just have a Juvenile by himself, just have a BG by himself. But when they come together, they're Hot Boys.
I forgot
like,
they were one of the first
because it's an interconnected concept of the same thing like a Wu-Tang, where you have a Wu-Tang Clan, but Method Man can be by himself, Old Dirty Bastard can be by himself, and you can run it in a sense of like a Def Jam to where you. LL Cool J just has to worry about making music and let Russell and let Rick Rubin like do everything else.
We got Rick Rubin on the couch here.
You feel what I mean? Sorry, my bad. You feel? Had a long night last night. So I think that's what it's so many interconnected of great concepts, proving stuff that it's like taking mashups of everything and formulating their own clay with it, and then just having it like make sense for everybody, and it's a fair concept for everybody. Everybody feels valued. Everybody plays their role to a T. And it's you can't lose that way. I think like it's a matter. It's like a matter of time. Like it's turn, but it's gonna happen sooner or later. You know what I mean?
What year did this start?
I guess it was the end of 2019 where I first had the idea. It was literally right after the
tornado happened, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, the tornado. So we kind of like tried to get it off the ground at the end of 2019, and then we came back to it that spring. When I first had the idea, honestly, part of the reason it took so long to start it is when I started telling people about the idea, I know a bunch of kind of like industry people and more like traditional Nashville music guys, and they're all like, you can get money for this, this is a good idea, people will help you. And so rather than just kind of diving in and trying to do it all for ourselves from the beginning, I was taking meetings with people and, just pitching this like concept. I was saying, it's kind of like Wu-Tang, it's kind of like Dreamville, but it's much more local, much more like culturally cohesive than that. Wu-Tang all came kind of from like the same kind of like area, and it had that like New York feel. Dreamville I thought was a little more correct musically, but the artists were a lot more diverse and kind of came from a different place. And in my head, when I started envisioning this, it was like a very Nashville thing. And so we spent a lot of time talking to labels and different people in town, and I just kept hearing, it's a good idea. We're not in the business of taking risks. We're especially not in the business of taking risks in like a genre we don't work in.
Especially not hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, this is dope if you want to do it.
There's a lot of layers that can make this fall too.
I heard that for 6 months, and then when March of 2020 came around, we decided to really like just do it. We're like, you know what? If people want to see that it works, like we'll just show them that it works.
Yeah, we said fuck him. After a while, we just did like once me and him had a long once we both had these visions of what he wanted to do mixed with what I already like traditionally been wanting to do for a while. Anyway, me and him had a long talk, and it was like both part. Like me and him always say, nothing can make this feel unless one of us is not a part of it. You know what I mean? So it's like he didn't have the concept was so beautiful, but he didn't have the right pieces to make it happen either at first.
Well, and I didn't have any like connections to the artist.
He didn't have any connection.
I was a fan. I was somebody that was like seeing the music that was being made, and I was like, man, this is the thing that like excites me the most about what's happening in the city right now. But I didn't go to the same school
because you got to find and now hip hop. You're not from it. You got to find it. Yeah. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Like you really, literally have to kind of search through the crevices sometimes to find certain people. And if you can get a connection with maybe somebody you don't have to search for as much, it helps the thing. Because a lot of artists we work with trusted me, but also when we started working together, they started to trust him. And it just became literally like a process of like, people the belief factor of what this is became so natural for people. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, it very quickly turned into the kind of thing where, like, when we bring new people out for what we're doing, everybody has already heard enough of the idea, the music we've already made. You know, there's a lot of people vouching for the process and the people behind it. So when people step into the space, they're ready to work. You know, they come in, they're not trying to feel it out. They're not trying to like suss out if it's the right thing to do. People come out and like, you know, if they're there, it's because someone knows that they're good enough to be there, and they have enough respect for the people that are on the project and for, you know, the kind of like affirmations. They just trust everybody. It's a very like, you know, Slab was saying, we really just kind of like let people do what they do best. We don't try and change that. We just try and highlight that and amplify it.
That's going to be one of the beautiful things, I think, is like outside of the music, people are going to love the music, but once they can like dig behind that and see the process of 15, 20 people creating magic in the moment and that type of energy, it's going to
I think that's what the footage we're going to, you know what I mean?
Like that footage is going to make people see it in a whole different way.
Like they're going to see the full concept. We're working like a personal documentary type thing too. Like, so they're going to see a full concept of what we not only create, but the personalities and the people behind it. Like, you ain't going to have no choice but to fall in love with what's going on, because you're just going to see how organic it is, you know what I mean? Everybody come part like, so when y'all having the next session? You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? And that's kind of how more people became the quote-unquote core members on top of the features and stuff like that, because people just kept coming back around. Like, it just wasn't, you feel me? Like, so we put on the ball, we put on, like, you feel what I mean? And when you make 12 songs in a weekend, it just makes people, like, get excited. And all good songs. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. No throwaways.
No, in fact, we probably had 4 sessions.
Right, 30 songs.
You know what I mean? Like, type thing. It becomes that real fast, and now we're at the spot where people are locking in a different way, where they hear, hey, can you just send me that beat, and then somebody go work on that beat by themselves, and then the group might be working on a beat that's in the studio, and then we come back. Okay, we get to that one later on. It's really a cohesive wave at this point of how the creative process goes in there. It's like no time is really wasted in that sense of it. Like, you know, we're gonna kick it, we're gonna quote unquote fellowship for a quick second, but we're gonna get right to it's time to get that bag, and somebody's just gonna hop in the booth. Like sometimes, like Evan, that one song, Evan, he just like, yo, can I hop on this right here? Y'all ready? Like, I'm ready now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
shit, cool. You gotta make yourself in those situations. If you don't get up,
that's one thing about the tribe though. You don't have to get up. You know, we don't put pressure on nobody. It's like a almost subconscious. It's a subconscious force moments. Like, hey, so you gotta like.
Yeah, you got to.
You got what I mean? You gotta kind of stake your claim in it. Like, you gotta stake your claim, because if not, you might have the same 4 people take every song. You know what I mean? Because every beat that we get from the producers, shout out to the producers that rock with us too. Like, it's scary.
Everybody wants to be on everything.
Everybody want to be on everything. You know what I mean? You gotta like know, and that's me, his job as well. It's like, hey,
we've had songs where at the end of the day we've got 7 minutes of verses on it. You know, everybody gets in the booth, and then we just kind of like sift through it and kind of figure out what works together. But it's cool. You know, we've done this long enough now that.
And there's no egos with that part of it too. That's probably helps.
Well, there's no egos because like everybody knows at this point that like the quality of production that we're getting and the quality of collaboration is not changing. You know, no one is afraid to miss out because they know there's always going to be the next one. You know,
and because I feel like we trust everybody's talent. It's like I'm not, you know, go ahead, you fire, go ahead.
And if it doesn't work for that, and if we do have to like quote unquote critique or say this doesn't work for this, we're not being assholes about it for one thing, but but the ultimate goal is to have the best song quality. You know what I mean? Not the ego of you want to just have your verse on this record. I done had 10 verses cut from records, and I own this motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I can lower my pride in that, you can too. And I think everybody sees that as well. Like, yeah, we gonna put Slab on there. Like, that didn't work. Or we cut the verse, or it had like, let's keep this one part and make this a bridge or a hook, and like we'll find a way sometime to make it work. But it might not be the full thing what you recorded or this part or that part. Like, Evan got a song on the whole lot. That's probably the most significant part of the song. He says 4 something lines.
Like 3 words.
Yeah, you got line like, but if you don't say that, it's not the same song. You know what I mean? We played it without the intro. You know what I mean? It don't hit the, you know what I mean, the same form. You feel me? So it all makes sense for how it's supposed to make sense. You dig what I'm saying? And he tried to rap a verse on that first, but that wasn't what worked for it. You know what I mean? That what he said when he did his little intro part, that was the best thing he did.
Oh.
The song, one of the songs we gonna play today, I had a whole verse for it. I did the intro part. I'm off that thing. You know what I mean? Like
y'all damn near could do a remix to every song, y'all.
We already got the verses in the. You know,
this
already universe, man. Got the same songs,
that'd be
different
funny,
verses.
actually.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, we talk about maybe doing some of that live. Like, the truth. Like, I'd say the hardest part about this is that when this became something that was more of like this is a full-time thing. This is not just like we're making a record and we're walking away from this. We're trying to really build this up. Man, coordinating 15 people to be at the same place at the same time is never easy.
You saw it today.
But I mean, it's cool because I know that like when we start doing shows, if somebody can't be there, rather than dropping their verse, we could easily just have somebody, do a 16-bar thing that's not on the record, but still hits live, and people would step up to that all the time. There's people that already have things written to those songs,
and we have such a eclectic catalog. If we cut a song and it only has 1 minute, trust me, the next song is okay. It's okay. Like we have so many songs we could do. Yeah. Like if somebody can't make a show, and we really need their verse for that song, whatever like that. We just cut that verse out for the live show, edit it real fast, and then get into another song, just kind of weave in and out. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. It makes it very easy to do with that many people as well. But yes, getting 15 people in one space is always. I think we've got it 1 to 2 times, 2 to 3 times. Good.
Never when there's a camera around.
Never when there's a camera around. Oh yeah, never when the camera's around. Like never, never when the camera around. But they did it.
Keone might have got something that one time. I think
I'm just talking about the group photo, the one that you want me to Photoshop you into.
You saw I'm not doing that. I'm cool.
Not Photoshop.
Yeah, no, that's why I ain't saying nothing back.
Yeah. No. I wouldn't let you.
No, I wouldn't let myself. I ain't doing that.
Don't go outside like that.
So did y'all have a cap at 15 to 20? Did y'all have like a certain number that y'all wanted to keep it at?
It was a commitment based. For a lot of it was the people who were most consistent on records and coming around the most, and we asked questions like, dude, we really finna make this a thing. Yeah. We want like contracts will be involved really soon. We want you to know like if you want to be a part of this is what we're doing. If you just want to be I'm a big wrestling fan, so it's like I big on subcontractors. Like that's kind of how we look at like we subcontracting people. Like if you want to be, we have you for this record. We're gonna split it right for this record and all that type of stuff. But if you don't want to be a part of nothing else, that's totally fine. Yeah. We have no issue with that. But it's some people that want to be a part of everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's people that's like, it's gang, it's tribe. Like this is what it is.
Well, and like we definitely didn't set out with like a number in mind.
No.
They were talking about it earlier. We had a weekend where we were featured in the Nashville scene a few months back, and we put up kind of like an open call right after that for a session where we're like, hey, we're doing another tribe session. If you've heard about what we're doing and you want to come out, now's the time, and so many new people came out that it literally doubled in size, and we went from having 12 songs done to 24 songs done in 2 days. We did 12 songs that weekend with 10, 15 new people all coming out.
Andre was one of them.
Yeah, that was when we met Andre. And it was just a moment where we're like, oh, we really have to like start to define this thing and start to like really push this music out, because if we're creating it this quickly, stuff's going to get left behind if we aren't putting it out as quickly as we're making it. Yeah. And so when we realized we had enough music that we had to start making those decisions is when we kind of started to define what the group was a little more. And it was just based on who had been there, how many verses they had, how big the contributions were.
The eagerness, like on this record, I think how many verses David got?
On the first record?
2.5.
2.5. Yeah. But he's always there. You know what I mean? Like he's always
live here
there.
Right
but he's always there. He don't even live. I mean, but when he DM like, hey man, I want to design stuff for the tribe. I want to do like it's like it's an initiative. You know what I mean? It's just an initiative. Like you want to be a part of this. How can I not say you're not a part of this? Yeah. You know what I mean? Of course you're a part of this. You doing everything to be a part of this. Like, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of people like that, and the number was bigger at first.
Well, and honestly, part of it was me too, just like realizing that if we're calling these like the core artists, there's a lot of work that's got to go in on just making
the branding of it.
Yeah, especially people's individual branding, like kind of prepping people to be ready for exposure and success. You know, getting social media stuff set up for people, getting solo releases out so that people have music of their own that we can point to. And when we started making the list, frankly, I don't want to take away the contributions that anybody put towards this record, even if you're only on one or two songs. Yeah. There are people that are only on one or two songs that are still fully sold on the Tribe vision, you know, and really want to be a part of what we're doing. But for me, just trying to manage all of this as like one of the only kind of like technical people behind the scenes in a lot of the regards, I just kind of reached a cap of like, this is about as much as I feel like I can do right now. Yeah. And then once we get these guys a little further along, we can kind of reach back down and bring some more people up with us.
That's what's the rest of next year is anyway, just planning the solo reach the brand up to this point. Like Mandela dropping records, Evans dropping records, Rio Tokyo's dropping records, Steph's son just dropped the album.
We gotta make sure we listen to
Andre, they not. Andre was. I know, but you know, Whistle. Actually, yes, you're right.
I love Whistle.
Andre Wolf, got records coming. Black Whistle, Trip God, Intellect.
And so like
Ronnie Rax, like just
beneath all of this are 15, 16 solo careers, and so we're kind of having to balance the group stuff, building the solo stuff at the same time, building a collective brand and individual brands, and it's 15 and 16 is already a lot.
Yeah,
and we're already producing. We're already working on 2 albums already for people, and we already got working on the Quarter Clemens album.
I mean, I guess if you're not counting yours anymore, but
I'm gonna count by in a second. You know what I mean? Quarter Clemens album's already getting worked on. Negro Justice album already getting worked on. My album is getting already worked on as well. Andre and Trip, the collab one, right? Or the solo?
No, they're doing solos.
Okay, well, yeah. So that's what it's like doing that. That's the day. That's the day. Yeah.
How'd y'all handle the pandemic though in 2020? Like, how was that?
That was when our first record came out, wasn't it? Our first album.
Yeah. So we started the sessions, I mean, like 2-3 days after the tornado, which was like a week before the pandemic really started to hit the U.S. And so it was really right as we were gaining momentum, everything kind of shut it right back down. And 2020 was weird. You know, we all kept in touch, and I was doing some stuff behind the scenes, but we hadn't really
real spotty.
Yeah, and like we hadn't really spent enough time together that like it had all kind of gelled.
We were a real new group at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was still getting to know. Like me and Aaron probably had more time with each other, around each other. And, but as far as the concept, it was like, it was
bunch of strangers in the stew.
Yeah, by the beginning of 2021, when we realized that like shit was still dragging on, it had been almost a year, and like it didn't feel like we were any closer to life being back to normal, was really when I was like, man, I'm just going to put out the stuff that we've already done. I'm going to start trying to book new sessions. And we kind of just became each other's like bubble, you know? Everybody was still mostly at home. But when we went out, we came to the studio. We went out together, and we just kind of developed this like trust in the community. And especially for the back half of the pandemic, we really just like went through it together. We started the Tribe record. We made Negro Justice's debut with the Chosen Family record.
That we started with the Resplendent. Bro.
Yeah, we started with that EP with you guys, the Resplendent EP with Y.C.S.W.U and Negro Justice. And we did all of that in 2021. And then, once the spring of 2022 hit was when we were like, man, we already have 2 full records worth of material for the Tribe. We got to start really figuring out the business and figuring out a release strategy. But yeah, I don't know. The pandemic, it was weird because I really like when it started. I felt my girlfriend Miranda's sitting across from us, and like I remember talking with her and just saying that like I was worried that like we'd started this really great thing and that it was going to fall apart. That like the pandemic was going to kill it.
Momentum was going to die.
And on the other side of it, I feel like we all bonded in a way that like only happened because we had that much time together. You know,
like wasn't nothing going on.
This just became the thing that we all believed in, so that by the time we were able to start working in it, everybody was just like sold. You know, the sessions felt really different when we came back the second time around.
Yeah, we could open it up a little more and bring more people around and stuff like that. Like the core, the 4 to 7 people that was like around.
Yeah,
just had a understand how they want to do stuff, and then when we start bringing new people around, it just gelled. Like literally, I can't even. The first Andre session, the first Stepson session, the first Intellect session, like it just started. They just gelled real easy, man. Like.
First time W.C.S.W.U came out, man.
W.C.S.W.U, first time Ronnie came out, like
I it's crazy. We talk about this all the time because I mean we've got dozens of sessions and shows and parties and stuff together at this point, and like I don't have a bad memory from any of it. You know, it's crazy to me how
it's some rough nights.
Yeah,
no bad memory, but some rough nights.
I don't really remember those.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to me how many people are involved in this for it to have been really like a relatively
fresh.
Well, and just like I don't feel like there were a lot of bumps along the way. You know,
no,
everybody gelled with each other as
musically, just creating music and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like musically, everybody gelled, but personalities gelled really well too. You know, we've got like a wide age range. There's probably like a 15-20 year gap between the youngest and the oldest member. You know, we have. For real? Yeah, man.
Damn, I must not know some of these things' age.
I mean, we got 20 some people.
Andre just turned 25.
How was Wolf?
25. He just turned 25.
Okay.
But I mean, J-Dot's 39, 40.
Is J-Dot the OG, the oldest?
I don't know if it's him or W.C.S.W.U or Blue.
Dot is the oldest.
Okay.
Between Dot and Blue.
Yeah.
I forgot about
but between J-Dot and Andre is 15 years.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
And so like we got a pretty wide range of ages. You know, we have a lot of kind of like groups that have all known each other, like pocket groups that all kind of came in together.
Yeah.
But that never got like super cliquey where like those groups only want to work with each other and they don't fuck with anybody else. Like none of that ever happened in a way that like we didn't do anything to make it that way. It's just everybody kind of came in with a base level of respect and like understanding of the idea that. And
once the flow started getting there, it's nothing to like. We ain't got to hold nobody's hand, do anything. You grown people, just do. You know what I mean? Go.
Yeah, we don't have to defend people because their art and their kind of like the way that they interact in the space kind of speaks for itself.
And everybody respects each other's way how they create. Like how Andre creates is different from how I create. How I create different. Rio creates and how Rio creates different from Evan. Like just everybody like. They love each other's way, like of how they do their art. You know what I mean? Like how when Andre go in the booth and everybody like, what he spazzing when every time we hear Evan do a verse, it's like, who is this nigga? Like, you know what I mean? So it's that every time, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I think we've become quote unquote fans of each other at the same time. Like we were at the party last night, they're like, man, what y'all want to play music wise? Everybody
our shit.
Everybody like we listen to a lot of us. Like I don't I don't know the current thing going on. You know what I mean? Like we the current things. I don't know what's really going on.
I really only bump our shit right now for the most part, for real.
A lot of people tell me that. Yeah.
I just hope the whole weekend I was because my phone messed up stuff. But I had like albums saved. Yeah. I listened straight like Stepson album, Us, and I listened to Alicia Keys song. It was fire.
Yo, welcome back to You Can't Sit With Us Radio Q.
So when you first kind of put this idea together, are there certain things that y'all felt would be difficult? Like just envisioning the process, like what did y'all, or maybe I'll ask, what is maybe the most difficult thing about having so many people together in one spot?
That alone.
Right?
Just that alone. That alone, having so many people. Like, if like we said earlier, like this was, if me and Aaron was running this and it was just me as the artist, or it was just Evan, maybe just me, Evan, and like somebody else as the artist, this is real simple. Yeah. This is actually really, really simple. It's not rocket science. It's just the amount of volume of people. Yeah. And everybody got different schedules. Everybody got their own families. Everybody got their own, people got kids. People got, you know what I mean, girlfriends. People, you know what I mean, you got to like, the life of being an artist and doing this and intertwining your quote, we know we always say real life, but intertwining your other parts of your life into this is a transitional thing, and you have to kind of bet on yourself to do it. You know what I mean? So every artist, I believe, who's part of this, they bet on themselves, believe in themselves and this concept on top of, but that's probably the most difficult, just planning all of that, because you realize how many, everything's amplified times 15, 16 people, and not to mention trying to get the videographers there, people, and trying to get editors for certain things. We got a branding dude, but he got 2 kids too, so like we're trying to get him, you know what I mean, make sure everybody got time for that, you know what I mean, like Aaron said, he does have a girlfriend, you know what I mean, like he's trying to get, I am a parent, you know what I mean, like trying to find those time to do what's important to being just a human, not just making music and, you know what I mean, trying to be business all the time, but we fellowship with each other a lot though, so that makes it kind of easy as well. Like we might get work done just because we feel like chilling today, you know what I mean, like, hey, you know what, we here, bro, just pull this up now, bro, just you know what I mean, that does help for me and him as far as getting stuff done. I'm probably with Aaron probably at this point in my life 5 days a week.
I was on vacation a couple months back, and Slab said, I didn't realize that I was your needy girlfriend, but I'm the one hitting you up when you're out of town. Just being like, hey, where you at?
Oh, like Miranda said, put the phone down. I know, but it's Slab. I gotta answer this. But that's probably the balance.
Well, and I would say, like, when you're working with one artist, even if you have like a lot of features and stuff, there's kind of like one creative head that like they have final say in everything. And we try and keep this as democratic as possible. I know that like I don't want to diminish the fact that I know a lot of people kind of treat me as kind of like the deciding factor in a lot of stuff, just because we do this out of my studio. It kind of like I came up with the concept, but I really try to not take that level of control a lot of times. I really want this to be something where like I say all the time that this is how I feel, but if I'm wrong, like just tell me I'm wrong. Because I want this to be something where like the cool thing about it to me, and the thing that really like I think susses out the right people to be involved in it, is that I don't think it's the kind of project that anyone is going to love every single moment of it, because there's so many different voices and styles represented. And like I say that I love every single moment of it. I know some people will, but you know, we've had people who like their perception of what rap music is doesn't align with the type of music that some of these artists make, but it hardcore aligns with some of the other artists. And it's the like bringing together of those diverse styles. Like, you know, I compare a lot of the artists that we have in the tribe to kind of mainstream artists, just as like a frame of reference for myself for kind of like how to treat different voices. And you know, I'm like, you wouldn't see, you know, like Juice WRLD and Killer Mike making a song together necessarily.
Can you imagine?
That's what we
but I can, because it's what we did. That's what's so cool about it. And like,
you got Andre Wolf on a song with G-Slab. Like that's what
that's
we do.
basically same shit.
I would say trying to like balance that, creating something cohesive, something that like I know translates well, but keeping as much power in kind of like the group and the like having the voice be.
I want everybody to feel value.
Yeah.
I want everybody to feel value. The difference between me and him is I don't give a fuck. I'm the person that what we have to do. Like, hey, we got to do this. We got to cut the song short. It can't be 12 minutes on this song. You know what I mean? Like, this is not. But we got songs that are like, let that go 6 minutes. Like, let that go. Like, cause they like that's we can have the Jay-Z, the God song. Like, you can go do that real fast, cause this beat calls for that. You know what I mean? But he's the good cop, bad cop type thing, but people still look at it like, hey, if I'm saying we need to do it this way, it's because the quality of song. It's not about that's where the ego dies. And so when I say like the ego of everybody, and that's what makes it kind of easy to do as well. No one has you know what, that makes sense, bro. No one has and it is pushback. We listen, like we be wrong. You know what I mean? Like me and him he had a verse, I forgot what song it was, and he was like, I just really don't like that song. And everybody was like, that motherfucker fire, bro. He's like, I'll shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I've had a point like, why don't you do it on here? slap. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't doing that shit. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes it so fun at the same time, because no one has to, like, I can critique you and say, and you know it's not me trying to come in as like a no quote unquote hate. You know, nowadays if you don't like something, you're a hater. You know what I mean? But it doesn't come off like, oh, he ain't fucking with me. Like, no, this right here don't fit this. Maybe we put it on that right there, and then it's like magic. Oh, that's the shit. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the fun, even though it's difficult, it's fun too.
So what was it like hearing y'all song on the radio on 101 with Ariana?
We sat down and we had a tribe day to goddamn it. We invited everybody over to the spot. We had food and drinks and all that type shit.
I would say my favorite part of that whole day was I got a text from somebody that was listening in their car, and they're like, "Man, I'm really excited to hear y'all's song on the radio, but I'm gonna be honest, it's the only song I'm gonna like this whole hour block." They're just like, "Man, I don't like any of the stuff that's playing on the radio right now." But yeah, I mean, we had a whole listening party, man. We all got together at the studio. We, Ariana,
big supporter. Shout out to her.
Yeah. She hosted and emceed a gig that we played, and before the gig was over, was like, "Man, I really want to get you guys out." And she was a big believer in what we were doing and pushing that message. And it was cool, man. You know, I feel like for a lot of Nashville artists, getting on local radio is really like, it can feel like the ceiling right now. You know, it's like as much as we have to offer for underground and independent artists, you know, and I have a lot of respect for some of the different stations in town, the independent stations, but the truth of the matter is, like, a lot of them don't really fuck with hip hop. So even as an independent artist, like, it can feel like you don't have a home. And Ariana doing her little Cashville spotlight and making a space for that, especially on an iHeart station, like a nationally syndicated station like that. It was really cool. It meant a lot to me as somebody that works in radio to just like see somebody kind of like go out of their way and do that for the culture. And like, you know, she's done that with Daisha and Mike Floss, a lot of other people in town. And, it's cool. I think it is really the first step in like creating opportunities like that for local hip hop artists.
So do y'all
hold on real quick.
I had to get out my respect. It was there. Man, so how do y'all plan on doing like showcases or shows, like live events with all of y'all at some point?
We did our first one back in July. We did our first show in July, and it was good, really good. Like it was really, really good. We've done a couple like club little shows, stuff like that as well. We've all had solo.
So what? We got a show in December coming up.
Yeah, we got a cover show in December. Solo artists have been doing their own shows as well. It's like Tribe members got their own, you know what I mean, show they do as well. But we're doing a full Tribe show in December. I
would say that like something we've kind of run into is that post-pandemic booking shows is way different than it was, you know, before. Venues are booked out months at a time. You can't just like 6 weeks before be like, I want to play a show. There's no place for you to play a show at that point. And so at this point, you know, our kind of mentality is shifted to planning a series of shows next like spring and summer. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we're probably going to look at just doing almost like a tour of Nashville and kind of like local cities, you know, like within the area. Again, trying to get 15 to 20 people at the same show. We don't have a bus, you know. There's a lot that goes into it. We do like a lot of rehearsal days ahead of time. We kind of, you know, we script out. Every song has mic transitions where one person starts somewhere and they have to, you know, Slab kind of described it as like a grown-up high school musical there's a lot of cues and a lot of like planning.
You're on mic one, you're on mic two, you stand right here, you be standing right here, and we kind of, me and him do that while the show is going on top of, while because he's mixing channels for the actual like, so everybody had their vocal EQ the right way and stuff like that. So it's a lot of like technical part to go into it as well. On top of,
or even like choreographing some dances and shit.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We're not.
I'm like, you might be. But yeah, shows I think is definitely gonna be a big part of this in terms of just like building a local audience and really kind of like selling the vision. We got people that fuck with what we do, but the best way to meet new people is live experiences, and we know that, and we definitely want to capitalize on that. Somebody that moved to Nashville in college, I remember like what the show scene was like and like connecting with local artists like that. And I think that can really be a big part of what we do. But yeah, our shows are so involved that really kind of doing our own thing is the only way it works, Like we did our first show in July, and we did a 90-minute set, and we pared that down from an over 2 hour long set, We were our very first show, we were prepped to do 2 hours, and we could have done 3 if we felt like people wouldn't leave if we did a 3 hour show. It just like the quantity of music that we have is already so much that we can really do events our way and create like a really unique live experience. Going back to Dreamville, we went to a Dreamville show last year, and I kind of saw like how they did the performance things, and every artist kind of had their own little 20-minute set, and then they did like a 20-minute set at the end where they did songs together. And the thing that we want to do differently with our live show is, we don't want to create that hierarchy of like, oh, this is our opener and this is our headliner, and moving up through the ranks. We want the show to feel like everybody's on equal footing. I feel like it's more energetic and exciting that way. And so the events that we're going to be creating are, just parties with a lot of people performing, a lot of like movement on the stage and people coming on and off, but a real kind of like cohesive flow to the whole thing, to where once it kicks off, you don't really get a chance to like breathe or rest for 2 hours, and then by the time the show's over, you've heard 20 different local artists, 30 songs, and it's just like it's cool. It's a real unique experience.
So don't none of y'all artists dance and rap at the same time? That'd be fire, bro.
You know what? Trip
actually, we probably do.
I'm like, some of them do.
Intellect will do a bust out real fast.
I'm just saying. Wizzle take his shirt off.
Wizzle definitely does. He definitely take his shirt off. Fat boy. Fat with his shirt off. You hear me?
Man.
All right, so you know, okay. So let's do this. Talk about the new album, and then we're gonna get into the second song, "Grow Again."
November 4th, Tribe Over Everything, debut album. This a ride. I mean, you're gonna go on a ride, like for real, from start to finish. You're gonna really fast see the what's the word I'm looking for? The variety, the diversity of what it is. We keep saying, like, it's hard to like say it until you hear it, you know what I mean, or even experience it. We always invite everybody, you come over to the man if you want to come check it out one day. But it's that type of feeling. But you're gonna notice the high skill level of every artist. You're gonna notice the diversity of every artist, from hooks to the bridges to the beats that the producers made. You're gonna see the quality of engineering that he put on there. It's just gonna be a display. It's gonna be a full display. It's one of the best introductions of something I've heard. Yes, I'm biased, obviously. But
that's facts,
like, you know what I mean. But far as but I listen to a lot of. I critique rap a lot. Like I'm really into like. I just listen to rap with a different ear, and like, if I was on the outside just looking at, when I hear some of the records, I'd be like, oh, that's me rapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hear G.S.W.U, not who I am as a person sometimes. I hear Evan Gray, not who I know as Evan. Like, I'm just a fan of who you are as an artist, and it separates as soon as I hear the music. It's that good, like, really.
I feel it.
November 4th, 13 tracks. It's cool. One of my favorite like little facts about the first is the first song on the record It's called They On Notice. It's got G.S.W.U, Petty, and Top Prospect on it. And that's the very first song we did for this iteration of Tribe. And we started it almost exactly a year ago. And then a year later, you know, we're putting out this record. We've already got the second record finished and ready to start mixing. And Carbon Copy is one of the very last songs we did. So we kind of like, on this record, we've got the very first and the very last thing, and like, you'd have no idea. You know, it's not like there's this huge quality jump a year later where the gel is there and and like the production value and the bars. Like,
I can tell they did that. I can tell they did that then.
Right. It doesn't feel like that at all. You know,
Yeah.
even though that a year of time went by and we grew a lot closer over that time. Just like from the gate, the precedent that was set of the quality of music that we were capable of creating was there from the beginning and never dipped.
You know, like we was playing the album for the distributor, and and he was talking about that song, about They Don't Know. Like, this is one of my favorite songs. I said, that's probably the oldest song we have on the album. And it's like, it's one of his favorite records. So.
We were initially going to do a double album. We were going to put out all the music at once, and we sent it to our distribution partner, and they're like, look, man, I'm a huge fan of what you guys doing. I listened to all 26 songs that you sent me, and there's not a bad song in this bunch.
Don't put that shit out like that.
Even for me, it was hard to get through that much music. He's like, I liked every song, but I don't think I would trudge through
20
an hour and a half of music more than one or two times. It's like, I just think you're going to get more out of your music if you make it digestible for the listeners. And so we, you know, defer to the expertise of the people that are helping us. We really try and like...
We'll just help us mold our new marketing strategy. I mean, once he said that, we just went into a whole different way to market both projects, the newer records, and it definitely was a turning point. And Grow Again is kind of like that same thing. Grow Again, one of the later songs we did. We did that on my birthday night.
It was the day we signed the deal.
Yeah. This is the day we signed that. But we did the it was my birthday night. I mean, it was lit on my birthday night. And we were just literally in there, just kicking it. Like, it was like I said, it was one of those things. And that beat came on, and people pulled up, and Quay pulled up, and it became one of those. For me, the hook was the intro part that I put on there, that Andre also backed me up on and stuff as well. It was, we had been going through something personally in the group, and I feel like it was a real turning point of, like, it's like one of those things that make you extra closer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that song to me felt like that. It felt like the culmination of what those feelings of this becoming more of a family feel.
Yeah, I mean, the day we made that was definitely, I think, like the first time that like we had a hard day in the group. You know, we'd been going for 6 or 7 months, and it was all highlights. And this was the first day where it was like, man, today was kind of rough.
Yeah.
Like, today some shit happened, and we all just got together, and it really like solidified how real the like family bonds were. It was that moment where it's like, you don't just say you're family, but like you're there, like your family.
It was definitely proven. It was definitely proven that day.
And that song, you know, we didn't really like set out with like a concept in mind, but the energy that everybody brought, I think embodied a lot of that, at least for us, you know, even if it doesn't feel like that to outsiders. For us, it was this moment of like, we were all there together and kind of like made something through a lot of these like unspoken feelings that I thought gelled really well and had a really cool vibe. But I'll always look back to and remember like feeling that community be there for everybody, you know, realizing that like when we really needed people, when this wasn't all just like fun anymore, like people still showed up, and it was cool.